This is a short video to discuss gathering data for Mars dust devils. So hopefully you have different ideas about what could be explored in terms of the dust devils. So I wanted to show you some different sites. So one of the things I did, let's see here once. I originally just did a Google on Mars dust devils, and you can see things like they actually have real images from the landers and of dust devils forming on Mars, and there are also images like this one where you can actually see the dust devil from outer space, and you can see the streak that it's leaving as it moves along the ground, picking up debris. And then of course there's lots and lots of places where the streaks are seen. So one way to look at dust devils is to, this is kind of neat, this is a dust devil actually starting here and working its way right up the side of a crater. So to try to figure out where these occur, how big they are compared to Earth's dust devils. So some are small, like these. These aren't gigantic dust devils. There's actually a nice video, if I could find it again. Of just a whole bunch of little dust devils forming near Spirit, the Spirit lander, which landed in Gusev crater. But anyway, it's clear that there are dust devils on Mars. So one of the things that might be of interest is to see where do these dust devils form. So you could actually look around in different places on Mars, and there are immediate hints as to where they form. On this website here, they were showing this is actually the narrow angle Mars orbiter camera, which I'm going to go to in just a second. But these are what appear to be very short streaks, so the dust devils must not live very long. They form and then kind of die away. They actually show here where this is. This location where this was taken from is actually inside this old crater near so there's the Tharsis Bulge, there's Valles Marineris, and there's a large impact crater. This isn't Hellas crater, it's a different crater, but it's down inside the crater. And one thing I want you to notice here is in these images you can see the streaks, but you also notice that there's a lot of streaks in these depressed areas. And I think you'll find from background information that the air needs to be fairly stable in order to form a dust devil. So generally it's expected these are going to be in craters. That's where they form. They initially form in gigantic craters, but they also, within the gigantic craters, form in smaller craters also. So let me just show you here. If I go to Malin, so I do a Google search. What I did was a Google search on Malin Space Science Systems, and here's the MOC, the Mars Orbiter Gallery, and I can just pick one of these, and I know that the image Spirit took showed that there were dust devils flying around. So if we go here to where Gusev crater is, this is actually Gusev crater with this channel coming out of it, and that's where Spirit is. So I can go in here and click on one of the narrow angle views. So this shows a wide angle, and you can see these dark areas. And this, oops, I think I picked the wrong one. Hang on, let me go back. Ah, that's not the one I wanted either. Sorry. Huh. That's the wrong image too. I mean, there are dust devil tracks there. I'm gonna pause just a second. I had it before, and okay, so I finally hit the right narrow angle view. So here we are, and you'll notice the narrow angle. This is Gusev crater, and here is the narrow angle view, which is shown up over here. And you can immediately see that this black area is caused by dust devil streaks. And this is sort of interesting because I'm going to choose the best quality image here to download. So this will just take a few seconds. Okay. So clearly these are dust devil tracks. But one thing that you might notice is they all seem to originate inside craters, which is to be expected. This is where this stable air, because there's a depression here. Now these craters are inside the giant crater, Gusev crater, but they come out and form these lines. So one thing of interest would be, let's just say you want to measure the size of the dust devils that made these lines. So let me just jump over here. You can download this image, and I did that already. So let me go into all programs and accessories and paint, and then I'm going to open hopefully the correct image here. Right here. Okay, let me zoom in just a little bit. So suppose we want to measure, say, how big one of these debris trails are, or the trail that's left. So maybe this one. You can make pixel measurements down here. This shows if the first number is the x coordinate and the second one's the y coordinate. So as I move there, I'm on pixel 3, and as I move in x, it counts the pixels, what pixel I'm on. And here, if I move down, it's in y, so the second number is showing you the pixel on the second number. So I could measure, say, across this guy. On one side it's 1,567. On the other side it's 1,599. So that would give me some kind of the difference between the two is the width in pixels. And then you'd need to scale the image in some way, and I could tell you how wide this is, how many meters across these are. There are other locations where you can find maybe a characteristic length. Now you don't have to do this all over the whole planet. These dust devil trails are everywhere. But possibly comparing the length here in pixels, say from the start of this to the end of it, would give you how far it traveled on the surface. And that could be compared to how far dust devils travel on Earth, for instance. One of the things that's going to arise is clearly these form inside craters where it's stable, and after they get out they seem to dissipate. So you could also maybe measure the change, how it dissipates, the width goes down to nothing, or how far it goes after it leaves the crater. And there are many places on Mars where you can find these tracks. Another interesting thing global wise might be to pick other areas on Mars where there are some craters. So let's see, we saw in the one image that this crater here actually had some dust devils in it. Let's see if we can find any here. Nope, none there. I may have the wrong crater. But so you can find areas. So here's some tracks as we cut across this crater. And because they tell you for the narrow angle image, they tell you how many pixels wide it is, how many pixels long, and what the width is in kilometers. You can figure out a scale for this. So let's just take a look at this guy once. I'll do the best quality narrow view image. Let it download. So just that quickly, I hadn't planned this out, but that quickly I can find another area where there's dust devils. And you can see streaks all over the place here. These streaks are from dust devils. So what would be interesting, okay, so down here, obviously where it's stable, down in this lower region, the dust devils come out. And one thing you could possibly do is measure the widest feature you find somewhere and see how big the dust devil is compared to the widest features in other areas. So because of the stability, it's interesting to see if globally, if there are places where dust devils form and where they don't form. Of course, in order to make a dust devil, you have to have dust. So that's why lots of times when you see places where there are sand dunes, you'll see dust devils. Another thing that's sort of interest is, notice as they're coming out of these craters here, or out of this depression, you see the dust devils kind of move in different lines. And it appears that when they clear the top of this depression, they're all very linear and they're all moving in the same direction. Probably because they form down here where there's very stable air, but then they're dragged along by the air currents, and the air currents must in general be in this direction. That's what I would expect. So you can measure some of these things. You don't have to do huge numbers, but we want something to compare to, maybe with Earth, or else compare regions on Mars against each other and see if you can come up with reasons why there are dust devils here, why some places have little short stubby trails and some have really long extended trails. So these are things to help characterize the formation of the dust devils and what they're like on Mars.